Hello everyone, welcome back to the 15th episode of the Portfolio Challenge series. We finally had a green week, and although it might be short-lived, it's nice to see everything up for once. We still only have had one portfolio beating the S&P 500 so far, but we're slowly getting there. Disclaimer, this is for entertainment and educational purposes only. I am not a financial advisor, and this is not financial advice. This is all done on a paper trading account, and these are all simulated trades with no real capital at risk. So in today's itinerary, I just want to go over some of the portfolio's performances again. And then some of the watch list news is just Robinhood got approved for Trump accounts, and I want to talk about that a bit. And then I wanted to do this after the first quarter ended, but it got postponed a bit. I just wanted to talk about how I feel about each initial goal that I talked about in my first episode. So just to see where we are there. Well, let's get started with the portfolios. So this is my 2026 main portfolio. This is my gut feelings, value picks, high IV, and mostly high conviction. As you can see, I didn't make any changes this week from last week, but SanDisk has grown significantly. It's actually almost at $1,000 per share right now, which is pretty insane, but nothing else really changed. And as you can see here, this is my profits and losses, and SanDisk is now pretty big. And again, this was my high conviction stock. Everything else is basically unchanged from last week. Here's my deep value portfolio. So this is pure forward PE plays with some guardrails. I did buy MKC. Honestly, not really sure what it does, but it did pass through everything, so I bought it. So here we are with that. That's why the cash is lower. And here's my profits and losses here. I have yet to take the SanDisk profit here, although technically I probably should, but I think that's going to happen when it hits 1,000. I think it's an automatic take profit there. So I'll have to double check that. And then here's my choice value portfolio, which is my value formula picks, which is basically price targets, and that's weighted by conviction and high IV. Once again, my high conviction plays here are Micron, Hood, Meta, and SanDisk. Actually, everything here is pretty high conviction already, but those are my biggest ones, and they're successful so far. Here's my profits and losses. In the choice value, I've exited most of these already. SanDisk and Micron are still open, as is Robinhood. Yeah, not much to say here. And my meme stock portfolio, currently it's holding a lot of Robinhood leaps. And I talked about that previously, but I'm just trying to grow this, the amount of leaps in it by snowballing it, by selling covered calls. So my initial goals and what I think about them today. So my 2026 main portfolio, my initial goal was 25%. Now, do I still believe that I can reach that? So you know what? Let's just do it like this. I'll have this open. I'll have that open. Do I still think I can reach it? So these are my expected exits for the year, by the way. Yeah, these are the expected exits. This is my 2026 portfolio, my expected exits. So to see what I think I will get, these are the totals of my expected exits, and this is my current value of everything. And these exits are things that I do believe can happen. I'm not saying they will. I don't think they all will, but I think they can happen. And so when I take the sum of all of these, right, and these are my expected exit totals. So my sum is 126,000. So that's a 25% gain, 26% gain. So I do think my initial goal can be pulled off. I do believe it's viable. Actually, based on this, I should actually exit SanDisk, so I will do that next week. So it is possible. Am I still highly convicted? No, I think that if I can reach 20% this year, I will be very happy. With my deep value portfolio, same thing. I'm just looking at this column right here, and it's showing me $140,000. Now it's at $105,000. This is, it's a bit higher today because of, I'm recording this on Monday. But as of last Friday, it was at $105,000, which is a 5% gain. So I do think 15%, definitely reasonable, definitely viable. If we're at plus 7.7% when the S&P 500 is at 0 basically for the year, we can definitely reach 15% this year. My choice value portfolio, it's at currently, well, this is a bit, it should be lower than that, but do I think 25% is still reasonable? Yes, I do. Here it's showing me 130,000. And like I said, I do think that most of these can reach. Maybe Robinhood will drop a bit, but I do think that 25% is still available to get. And maybe a more reasonable goal would be 20%, but I am still very optimistic. We're only in April. We've still got most of the year to go, and so far we've been down, and I do think this will be an up year. And finally, my meme stock portfolio. Yeah, this isn't really showing anything that's relevant for the meme stock portfolio. Let me pull up the alpaca. So I have 31 current leaps at a price of $24.75 and $2,000 cash, which I will be buying another one next week after I roll over this covered call. Do I believe that this can reach a reasonable price? Let's see. Let me go to option strat over here. We're going to go to a call. We're going to go January 28. This is a $75 strike. And let's go till the end of this year. Okay, that's roughly the end of the year. Now, I do expect I will average this year 1 call per week gained. So we have 258 days. That is 36 weeks. So we've got 36, you know what, let's call it an even 30, right? So we can reach 60, even 65. We can reach 60 calls by the end of the year. And I think that is what my simulations were showing as well. So 60 calls by the end of the year. And so if I want to reach, what was my goal? My goal was 35%. So if I want to reach 35%, so if my goal is 135,000 and I want it to be over 65 calls, right? So I need the price to be 2076. Where would that be? That would be still under $75. Do I think that it can reach 75 by the end of the year? Yes, 100% I do think. I think we'll finish between 90 and 100. So moving up there, we could easily see this portfolio reaching 150, 160K. I would not be surprised if that happened. And if it still stays under 70 to 75, then I'll have more than 65 calls by the end of the year. So again, I do think that is viable. 35% is still on the table. That is more than doubling myself right now. But I do think it is possible. And now the Trump account with Robinhood. So Robinhood were chosen as trustees, as I said, but they are only chosen as the order flow broker. So it's not that the accounts open in Robinhood and then they stay there for 18 years, whatever it is. Robinhood gets to use that. That's not what's happening. Robinhood is creating a separate app for the government. Accounts are not under the Robinhood name. It's going to be a white label app, and there's going to be no Robinhood advertising. So what does that actually entail for Robinhood? Well, not much. So there's $1,000 going into the Trump accounts from the government for 3.6 million babies born every year in US soil. So that's $3.6 billion every year invested through the Trump accounts, unless parents put in more. And using, these are rough Robinhood numbers, but this many dollars per order, per dollar spent on an order, times the $3.6 billion, and we get less than $1 million per year from this deal. So I do think that given the work that Robinhood's already put into this, I think that it's going to end up as a net negative for Robinhood after sales and after the cost of sales. So I didn't think it's going to end up as a net negative after the cost of sales. But it might be the start of some working relationship with the government, which is bullish, but that doesn't change any of my Robinhood, my opinions on the company. I do think they'll end up at probably $90 to $100 this year. It might even go up to 120 again, but that would need a pretty significant run. So I am still bullish on Robinhood. The Trump account isn't going to be as big of a deal as they thought it would be, but that's no big deal. And most of my outlooks, most of my projections, well, these aren't projections, these are goals. Most of my goals are still good. These two are dropped to 20%. My deep value might also be 20%. And my meme stock is, I'll keep the 35%. And so let's continue to have a decent year. So far, it's been not great, but let's try and outperform the market from here on out. Thank you guys for listening. Good luck this week. Have a good week. Bye-bye.